Good evening, everyone. Today, the reporters for Module 3, Lesson 2 are from the second year BS Ed Math, Section B. We will be discussing to you about the Lesson 2, The Good Life.
Nicomachean Ethics and Modern Concept. So take note guys, the Nicomachean Ethics by the Greek philosopher Aristotle is one of the earliest treatises on the nature of good actions or ethics. The title derives from either Aristotle's father Nicomachus or his son also named Nicomachus. So, Aristotle is an important ancient Greek philosopher whose work spans from natural philosophy to logic and political theory attempted to explain what the good is. And according to Aristotle, the good is happiness, or the good life is the happy life, as he believes happiness is an end in itself. So happiness is an end in itself means it is an ultimate end at which all our activities aim. So in the Nicomachean Ethics, Aristotle developed theory of the good life, also known as eudaimonia for human. Eudaimonia for human or eudaimonia is perhaps best translated as flourishing or living well and doing well. So, matakel ni later sa kung isa kakauban nga mag-report.
Moreover, Aristotle also stated that kung unsay maayo for each of us corresponds sa mga natural needs, mga kinahanglan natong tanan like food, shelter, water, and etc. Thus, what is good for one person is good for another. In other words, there is a right plan for living well according to Aristotle.
His definitions may be useful in our pursuit of truth. In Nicomachean Ethics, Aristotle stated, all human activities aim at some good. Every art and human inquiry, and similarly every actions and pursuit, is thought to aim at some good. And for this reason, the good has been rightly declared as that at which all things aim. Nicomachean Ethics 2.2. Everyone is moving towards the good, thus completing one's studies, training for a support, or taking a rest is a good.
So, kita tanang tao dito sa kalibutan na adjudge goal sa kinabuhi, which is to have a good life. We aim for the best in every activity we do. Because we, human, feel satisfactory when we achieve something good in our life. We want our lives to improve, to have a comfortable living, to have valuable things, to have wealth, to be good in everything, right? Because that is what we thought that could bring happiness in our life as humans. To be good in life is happiness to us.
Both the many and cultivated call it happiness, and suppose that living well and doing well are the same as being happy. Nicomachean Ethics 1.4. Happiness is the ultimate good. There's nothing more precious than this, according to Aristotle. Fame, wealth, enjoyment, knowledge, although one can strive for them, are all just means to make someone happy. In contrast, one seeks happiness not in order to get something else through it, but because it is good in itself. However, the word for happiness used by Aristotle, eudaimonia, covers something else that many other concepts of happiness. In eudaimonia, eu means good, and daimon is a supernatural being, a spirit. Today, the term eudaimonia is translated in various different ways as happiness, flourishing, living well, or well-being. According to Aristotle, happiness is good life and good action. And the happy man lives well and does well. In our contemporary language, we could say that the good life is what we aim for, and it is largely the outcome of right action. Flourishing life clearly distinguishes itself from the current widespread interpretations of happiness as a feeling or as a sense of satisfaction. I would say that according to Aristotle, happiness is not simply what we feel, but rather what we do, how we live.
So, okay. At this moment, we are going to discuss about the word eudaimonia and where it is came from. The ancient Greeks called this concept of living well and doing well as eudaimonia. The word came from the Greek word eu, meaning good, and daimon, meaning spirit. So, what is eudaimonia? It is a contented state of being happy and healthy and prosperous. According to Aristotle, the purpose of mankind is eudaimonia, or let's say happiness. He added that the purpose of man is to achieve eudaimonia, which is a state of permanent happiness rather than the momentary exaltation of the senses. Also, we can achieve eudaimonia through living virtuously, or let's say, being good.
In the book 1 of Nicomachean Ethics, chapter 4, talks about being happy is same as living well and doing well. It's true because as a result of living well and doing well is obtaining the real happiness. In ancient Greeks, the concept of living well and doing well is eudaimonia. The word came from the Greek word eu, means good, and daimon means spirit. Having a good spirit tends to have great happiness. Furthermore, according to Aristotle, happiness is the ultimate end of human action. According to it, happiness consists in achieving, through the course of whole lifetime. All good examples are wealth, health, knowledge, friends, and etc. When we end our action, it reaches our satisfaction. To shorten, happiness is the main goal of everyone in our daily lives.
It is the activities that express virtue that control happiness, and the contrary activities that control its contrary. In Tagalog, ang mga aktibidad na nagpapahayag ng kabanalan ang kumukontrol sa kaligayahan, at ang kabaligtaran ng mga aktibidad ang kumukontrol sa kabaligtaran nito. Example, Nathaniel is always making sure that his sister Liza avoids eating sugary and processed foods to keep her body healthy. With this, Nathaniel expresses virtue. How? By making sure that his sister Liza avoids eating sugary and processed foods, and with the resulting health adds to one's well-being and happiness. Sino bang hindi magiging masaya kung ikaw ay healthy? Di ba wala? We will become happy and we will live a good life. These virtuous actions require discipline and practice. On the other hand, activities contrary to virtue are those which do not result in happiness. Example, the lack of concern for the environment destroys the earth we live in. With this action and result, magiging masaya ba ako? Ka ba? O tayo? Habig no. Thus, disregard for virtuous action, especially for the sake of convenience and gratification, does not contribute to happiness. The good life is marked by happiness brought about by virtuous human actions and decisions that affect the individual, self, and greater community. Good life is the result of living a life of virtue. It is characterized by a life of flourishing of oneself and of others. The good life does not happen in a bubble, where only one person is flourishing. Others have to be in it too.
Good evening, classmates, and good evening, Miss. So I am Mas Carinias reporting the definition or the rule of virtue. Virtue plays a significant role in the living and attainment of the good life. It is the constant practice of the good, no matter how difficult the circumstances may be. It guides individuals towards human excellence by exerting our strengths in moderation to establish good habit, which ultimately forms a good character. For example, a virtuous person is someone who is kind across many situations over a lifetime because that is her character, and not because she wants to maximize utility or gain favors or simply do her duty. 3 virtues that are essential for living a good life are patience, courage, and perseverance. One virtue essential for living a good life is patience.
Good evening, everyone. I am Camille Angela C. Donghil. In Aristotle's Nicomachean Ethics, Book 2, Section 1, it says that virtue, then, being of 2 kinds, intellectual and moral. Intellectual virtue in the main owes its birth and growth to teaching, for which reason it requires experience and time, while moral virtue comes about as a result of habit. Intellectual virtues is being able to make informed, rational choices about the right way to act in any given situation. Intellectual virtues also represents excellences and reasoning skills that can be taught through inquiry and study. Some examples of these virtues might be common sense, wisdom, understanding, and practical skill. Moral virtues is the dispositions or traits of character that ensures that we actually feel and act appropriately in these situations. It is also, by contrast, are products of habit that begin in childhood and are strengthened in adult life. Aristotle gave a list of some moral virtues, which includes courage, generosity, friendliness, honesty, and temperance. The difference between intellectual and moral virtue is that intellectual virtues are about learning to be the best you can be by understanding the world and achieving goals, while moral virtues are about doing the greater good and being a better person by learning from mistakes and doing what feels right naturally.